It was Christmas Eve. Snow fell softly outside, blanketing the world in a serene white. The night was calm, and the only sound was the gentle whisper of the wind as it danced through the trees. The snowflakes glistened like tiny diamonds, creating a magical atmosphere that seemed to promise something special. Inside, a fire crackled in the fireplace, casting a warm, golden glow throughout the room. The flames flickered and danced, creating shadows that played on the walls. The stockings were hung with care above the mantel, each one embroidered with a name and waiting to be filled with surprises. The room was filled with a cozy warmth that made everyone feel at home. Alexander, Lily, and little Aline were snuggled on the rug, their matching Christmas pajamas adding to the festive spirit. They were wrapped in soft blankets, their eyes wide with anticipation and excitement. The siblings shared a special bond, and on this night, it was stronger than ever. They whispered and giggled, their faces glowing with the joy of the season. They were listening to their grandmother's stories, her voice a soothing melody that filled the room. She spoke of Christmases long past, of traditions and memories that had been passed down through generations. Her stories were filled with wonder and magic, capturing the imaginations of the children. They hung on her every word, their minds painting vivid pictures of the tales she told. The air smelled like pine needles and gingerbread, a delightful combination that made the house feel even more festive. The scent of freshly baked cookies wafted through the air, mingling with the earthy aroma of the Christmas tree. It was a smell that brought back memories of past holidays, of laughter and love shared with family and friends. Christmas carols played softly on the radio, their familiar melodies adding to the ambiance. The songs told stories of joy and peace, of hope and love. They were a reminder of the true spirit of Christmas, a time for giving and sharing, for being with those we love. The music filled the room, wrapping everyone in a blanket of comfort and cheer. Everything was perfect, except for one thing. The children couldn't wait to open their presents. Their eyes sparkled with excitement as they glanced at the beautifully wrapped gifts under the tree. Each present was a mystery waiting to be unraveled, a promise of joy and surprise. They whispered to each other, guessing what might be inside, their imaginations running wild. The anticipation was almost too much to bear, but it was all part of the magic of Christmas Eve. Suddenly, a bright light appeared outside the window. It shimmered and danced on the snow. Curious, the children rushed to the window. They had never seen anything like it.
What is that?
Whispered Aline, her eyes wide with wonder.
Let's follow it,
Suggested Alexander, the bravest of the three. The light led them to the edge of the woods. The children, bundled up in their warmest winter clothes, trudged through the thick snow, their breath visible in the cold air. They had been following the mysterious glowing light for what felt like hours, their excitement growing with each step. The light seemed to dance and twinkle, guiding them deeper into the forest. As they reached the edge of the woods, the light grew brighter, illuminating a small clearing ahead. There, they found a tiny elf with a cheerful face. The elf was no taller than a small child, with rosy cheeks and a wide smile that seemed to warm the cold air around him. His eyes sparkled with a mischievous glint, and he waved enthusiastically as the children approached. "Hello there!" he called out in a high-pitched, cheerful voice. The children couldn't help but smile back, their initial nervousness melting away. He was dressed in green and red. His outfit was adorned with tiny bells that jingled with every movement, adding to the festive atmosphere. The elf's hat, a bright red with a fluffy white pom-pom at the end, bobbed as he moved. His shoes, curled at the toes, were a deep green, matching his tunic and trousers. The children marveled at his attire, which seemed to be straight out of a Christmas storybook.
Hello, I'm Jingles, I need your help. The elf's cheerful demeanor suddenly turned serious, and his eyes filled with worry. Something terrible has happened, he continued, his voice trembling slightly. The magic star from Santa's sleigh has gone missing, and without it, Christmas will be ruined. The children gasped in unison, their hearts sinking at the thought of a Christmas without the magic star.
Jingles explained that the magic star from Santa's sleigh was missing. He told them how the star was the source of all the magic that made Santa's sleigh fly, and how it brought joy and wonder to children all over the world. Without it, Santa wouldn't be able to deliver presents, and the spirit of Christmas would be lost. The children listened intently, their faces reflecting the gravity of the situation. Without it, Christmas would be ruined. The thought of a Christmas without presents, without the joy and excitement of Santa's visit, was too much to bear. The children exchanged worried glances, their minds racing with the implications of the missing star. They couldn't let this happen. They had to do something to help Jingles and save Christmas. The children, filled with the spirit of Christmas, promised to help. They knew that they couldn't let Christmas be ruined, and they were determined to find the missing star. "We'll help you, Jingles," one of the children said, stepping forward with a look of determination. The other children nodded in agreement, their faces set with resolve. Jingles' face lit up with hope, and he smiled gratefully at the children. "Thank you," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "With your help, I know we can find the star and save Christmas." Jingles led the children through the forest. The trees were decorated with twinkling lights. Animals talked to them, wishing them luck on their journey. Squirrels offered them acorns, and owls hooted directions. The forest was full of magic, but it was also full of danger. The children had to be brave. They arrived at a frozen lake, the air crisp and cold, their breath visible in the frosty air. The children were excited but also a bit apprehensive as they stood near the edge of the icy expanse. The ice was thin and cracked in several places, making it dangerous to cross without a plan. The children knew they had to be careful. They needed to cross it to reach the other side, where their destination awaited. The other side held the promise of adventure and discovery, but first, they had to figure out how to get there safely.
"How will we get across?" one of the children asked, voicing the concern that was on everyone's mind. The group huddled together discussing their options.
Asked Lily, worried. She looked at the ice, her brow furrowed with concern. The thought of falling through the ice was frightening.
"I have an idea," said Alexander, raising his hand. He had been thinking hard about the problem and believed he had a solution.
Alexander had an idea. He suggested using a large branch to distribute their weight more evenly across the ice. This way, they could cross without putting too much pressure on any one spot. He picked up a large branch and laid it across the thinnest part of the ice. The branch would act as a bridge, providing a safer path for them to walk on. They carefully walked across, one by one, each child stepping lightly and holding their breath as they moved. The ice creaked and groaned under their weight, but the branch held firm. They made it to the other side, relieved and triumphant. Once they were all safely across, the children cheered and hugged each other. They had faced a challenge and overcome it together, their bond stronger than ever. The adventure continued as they explored the new area, discovering hidden paths and secret spots. The Frozen Lake Challenge had been a test of their teamwork and ingenuity, and they had passed with flying colors. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the frozen lake, the children knew they would always remember this day. It was a day of courage, friendship, and the thrill of adventure. They headed back home, tired but happy, their hearts full of the memories they had made. The Frozen Lake Challenge had brought them closer together and taught them the value of working as a team. As they waved goodbye to each other, they knew that they would face many more challenges in the future, but with friends by their side, they could overcome anything. The frozen lake lay quiet and still, a silent witness to the day's events. It had tested the children, but they had risen to the challenge, proving their resilience and determination. That night, the children slept soundly, dreaming of their next adventure. The Frozen Lake Challenge had been just the beginning, and they were ready for whatever came next. On the other side of the lake, they found the missing star. It was caught high up in a tree, tangled in branches.
I'll climb up and get it.
Aline, being the smallest, climbed the tree. She carefully freed the star. It shone brightly in her hands. The children cheered, happy to have found it. Jingles was overjoyed. He whisked them back to Santa's sleigh just in time.
Ho, ho, ho! Thank you, children, for your bravery. You have saved Christmas.
As a reward, Santa gave them each a special ornament for their tree. The ornament sparkled with a warm light. It reminded them of their adventure.
"Thank you, Santa."
"Yes, thank you."
We will never forget this.
The children said, their hearts full of joy. They waved goodbye as Santa flew off into the night, his sleigh bells jingling. The children returned home, their heads full of magical memories. The next morning, they woke up to find their stockings filled with presents. They knew this Christmas was extra special. They had saved Christmas and made a new friend, Jingles the elf.